January 12, 2012. Strait of Hormuz, 3:42 p.m. local time. The sun hangs directly overhead, reflecting off choppy, slate-blue water that narrows to just 39 kilometers at its tightest point. Beneath this stretch of sea flows approximately 20% of the world's daily oil supply, carried by supertankers displacing more than 300,000 tons each, bound for markets across Asia, Europe, and North America. At the center of this corridor moves a 333-meter-long, 100,000-ton nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, USS Nimitz, CVN-68, valued at approximately $4.5 billion, powered by two A4W nuclear reactors generating more than 260,000 shaft horsepower, carrying a crew of nearly 5,000 sailors and an air wing of more than 90 aircraft. This is not just a warship. This is a mobile air base, a symbol of national power, and a strategic guarantee that the sea lanes feeding the global economy remain open. What happens here will ripple through oil markets, diplomatic channels, and military planning rooms around the world. Like, subscribe, and stay with us for the complete breakdown. 3:36 p.m. The carrier strike group maintains a steady 15 knots through international waters, flanked by two Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers, USS Stockdale DD-106 and USS Chaffee DD-90. Each destroyer displaces approximately 9,300 tons, measures 155 meters in length, carries a crew of about 300 sailors, and is armed with an Mk-41 vertical launch system capable of firing up to 96 missiles, including SM-2 and SM-6 surface-to-air interceptors, Tomahawk land attack missiles, and ASROC anti-submarine weapons. There in /spy, 1D phase array radars rotate invisibly, scanning hundreds of kilometers of airspace and sea surface, tracking everything from civilian airliners to fishing boats. The Strait of Hormuz is not wide. At its narrowest shipping lane, inbound and outbound traffic is funneled into two channels just 3 kilometers across, separated by a buffer zone. On an average day, more than 80 oil tankers pass through, each carrying cargoes valued between $80 million and $250 million depending on market prices. The mathematics are unforgiving. Disrupt this corridor, and the price of oil can spike by 10 to 20% within hours. Disrupt it for days, and entire economies feel the strain. 9 a.m. 6 hours earlier. The strike group enters the strait under routine transit protocols. The Nimitz's air wing includes F divided by -18E divided by F Super Hornets, each costing approximately $70 million, capable of speeds exceeding Mach 1.8, carrying up to 8,050 kilograms of ordnance. E. 2C Hawkeye Airborne Early Warning Aircraft Patrol at 25,000 feet, their rotating radar dome scanning 360 degrees out to 550 kilometers. MH-60 are Seahawk helicopters, valued at roughly $28 million each, sit ready on the flight deck, configured for anti-submarine warfare, surface surveillance, and search and rescue. Strategically, this transit follows a public statement made 24 hours earlier by Iran's supreme leader. Broadcast on state television, the message is direct. If Iranian oil exports are blocked by sanctions, then no oil will flow through the Persian Gulf. This is not rhetorical posturing. It is a challenge to the concept of freedom of navigation, a principle enforced for decades by U.S. and allied naval forces. 11:30 a.m. intelligence analysts aboard the Nimitz review satellite imagery and signals intercepts. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy, or IRGCN, maintains several small boat bases along the coast, including the major facility at Bandar Abbas. The base supports dozens of fast attack craft designed for swarm tactics. These vessels are not meant to win a conventional battle. They are designed to create uncertainty, force reactions, and generate political consequences. 11 Baghamar-class fast attack craft depart Bandar Abbas. Each boat measures approximately 12 meters in length, displaces around 7 tons, and is powered by high-output diesel engines capable of pushing the hull to speeds exceeding 50 knots, or roughly 93 kilometers per hour. Armament varies by configuration, but typically includes 12.7mm heavy machine guns, 107mm rocket launchers, and in some cases lightweight anti-ship missiles or torpedoes. Cost per unit is estimated at $500,000 to $1 million, depending on electronics and weapons fit. This is asymmetry in its purest form. 11 boats worth, at most, $11 million combined are moving toward a naval formation valued at more than $20 billion when aircraft, escorts, and support vessels are included. The ratio is not measured in dollars alone. It is measured in perception. A single incident here can dominate headlines, move markets, and force political leaders into public positions. The /spy. 1D radar aboard USS Stockdale detects small, high-speed surface contacts departing the Iranian coast. Initial classification: fast inshore attack craft. Range: approximately 37 kilometers. Speed: increasing. 3:28 p.m. The contact's close to 20 nautical miles. The Combat Information Center aboard the Nimitz updates the tactical plot. The boats are spreading into a loose formation, approaching from multiple bearings. This is a textbook swarm pattern, designed to divide defensive fire and complicate targeting solutions. 10 nautical miles. The boats are no longer responding to bridge-to-bridge radio calls. Admiral Sarah Coleman, commander of the Nimitz Carrier Strike Group, is summoned to the bridge. She studies a display. 11 fast-moving returns, converging. The challenge is not tactical alone. Any use of force, even defensive, will be recorded by civilian vessels, regional media, and possibly by the Iranian boats themselves. The aftermath will play out in press conferences and diplomatic chambers as much as in after-action reports. 2 nautical miles. The Iranian boats accelerate, closing the distance in minutes. The lead vessel transmits on an open frequency, claiming the carrier is in Iranian waters and ordering it to turn back. The claim is demonstrably false. The Nimitz is transiting within internationally recognized shipping lanes. But legality and perception are not always aligned in the public eye. At this moment, the strike group's weapons are ready. The destroyer's 5-inch guns can fire 20 rounds per minute, each shell weighing 32 kilograms, with a range of more than 24 kilometers. The carrier's Super Hornets are on alert, capable of being airborne within minutes. The mathematics of firepower are overwhelming. Admiral Coleman makes a different calculation. 3:54 p.m. The laser system is powered down. One by one, GPS receivers reacquire satellite signals. Radar screens flicker back to life. Radios clear. The 11 boats turn east, reforming loosely, and accelerate back toward Bandar Abbas. No further transmissions are made. The Nimitz resumes its transit, air wing and escorts maintaining formation. The strike group exits the narrowest point of the strait within the hour. 2 hours later, U.S. Central Command releases unedited video footage recorded by the helicopters. The clips show the approach, the radio exchanges, the moment the boats lose coordination, and the eventual withdrawal. The footage spreads across international media platforms within minutes. Financial markets respond before diplomats do. Oil futures, which had climbed on fears of disruption, stabilize. The message absorbed by traders and analysts is simple. The strait remains open. 24 hours later, regional governments issue statements reaffirming freedom of navigation. Insurance rates for tankers transiting the Gulf, which have been poised to rise, remain unchanged. The economic impact of non-action is measured in billions of dollars avoided. In Tehran, internal reviews begin. Open-source reporting suggests disciplinary action within the IRGCN command structure. The strategic lesson is not about defeat in battle. It is about exposure. The encounter demonstrates a capability gap that is not easily closed with additional boats or missiles. Analysis suggests the real shift is doctrinal. For decades, Iran's naval strategy in the Gulf has relied on swarm tactics, coastal missiles, and the threat of escalation to create leverage. The incident shows that electronic warfare and directed energy can neutralize those tactics without crossing the threshold of armed conflict. From a cost perspective, the comparison is stark. 11 fast attack craft, valued at perhaps $11 million combined, are countered by a laser system costing an estimated $40 million to $60 million to develop and integrate, mounted on a platform valued in the billions. But the cost per engagement is negligible. The mathematics are not about affordability. They are about sustainability. A system that can be used repeatedly without expending ammunition changes the calculus of deterrence. China, Russia, and other naval powers study the footage. Directed energy is no longer theoretical. It is operational. The implications extend beyond the Gulf. In any confined maritime space, from the South China Sea to the Baltic, the ability to disable without destroying alters escalation dynamics. Days later, Iranian naval activity in the Strait decreases. Harassment incidents drop. Merchant traffic continues without interruption. The global supply chain, often fragile and easily disrupted, absorbs the moment and moves on. The strategic impact, however, remains. The encounter demonstrates that dominance at sea is no longer measured solely in tonnage, missile counts, or aircraft numbers. It is measured in integration, sensors, networks, electronic warfare, and information control. The Nimitz completes its deployment months later, logging tens of thousands of nautical miles, launching thousands of sorties, and serving as a floating node in a global security architecture. The laser system remains aboard, upgraded and refined, part of a broader move toward directed energy across the fleet. The Strait of Hormuz remains what has always been, a narrow passage carrying a disproportionate share of the world's energy supply. But after this day, it is also a demonstration space for a new kind of naval power, one that can impose outcomes without the visible exchange of fire. This operation succeeds because of integration, surveillance, maneuver, electronic warfare, and information management working as a single system. What the Carrier Strike Group represents is not just physical power, but narrative control. The lesson is not that confrontation is unwinnable, but that in modern warfare, perception can be as decisive as destruction. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe directed energy and electronic warfare will redefine naval deterrence in the next decade, or will traditional missiles and guns remain the final arbiters at sea? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more in-depth analysis.